Welcome back to my channel, Zaim's channel, and I am Zaim Iskandar. Tonight's video will be the 3 additions, okay, new additions to the revised F1 calendar. First one is the Nürburgring. The last race around the Nürburgring was 2013. Who was driving a Lotus Renault that year? And this season might be his last season in F1. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about the driver. Okay, the other two tracks is actually Portif my ma my Mayo or something. It's in the track is in Portugal. The last time they hosted the Grand Prix was in 1996. That was 2 years before I was born. Seriously, 2 years. That is 20. Yeah, 2 years before I was born. So that I'm 22 this year, so that means it was 24 years ago. And the last race, I'm not surprised in what country is going to be held, because I read the rumor in I mentioned about this country hosting 3 races in my early part of the video, but for out of the three tracks, I said two was actually doubtful. Okay, that is Mugello, that they just announced about a few weeks back. They will be racing in Mugello, yeah, and Monza also. They announced it, I think, way back in June or July. June or May, or yeah, June or May. So yeah, so the third Italian Grand Prix will be held in the in the city of San Marino, Italy, and the track is quite famous for one fateful weekend in F1. I don't want to describe that weekend because that was in 1994, 4 years before I was born, and yes, it was fateful. It was a dreadful weekend for F1 because one of the drivers who crashed on the Friday practice session survived. The other two drivers who crashed in the 2 subsequent days fatally lost their lives. So yeah, you know which two drivers I'm referring to: the Australian driver and the legendary Brazilian driver, who was actually racing with Williams when he fatally lost his life at Tamburello. That was on the 1st of May, on Sunday in 1994. So I don't need to mention the names, but I would mention one of the drivers who actually crashed on the Friday practice session on that weekend. It was Rubens Barrichello, but he survived. And yeah, the Australian driver and the other Brazilian driver that I'm not going to mention the names because yeah. So yes, Imola is back for the first time since 14 years ago. That is when I was standard 2 in 2006. I was 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old plus 14, 22. So yeah. So yes. So welcome back to all those three. Welcome back to all those 3 tracks. One of those 3 tracks had a history of being called the Green Hell. I think that was the Nürburgring track back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s because it was known to be one of the most deadliest track for the drivers. Yeah, and sadly, one of the drivers who passed away, I think, in the middle of last year, survived a almost fatal crash in 1976. It was a wet race. Yeah, around the Nürburgring circuit. I forgot what's the name called. Notchfehler or something. The old track's name called Notchfehler, but for for general people they just call the Nürburgring. So yeah, Notchfehler. So yep. Uh, he was an Australian champion. He also drove for McLaren and Ferrari. And he won championships with both of the teams, and I think he's the only driver to achieve that feat in F1. No other driver could achieve that feat, winning championships with two of the most successfulest team on the grid to date, McLaren and Ferrari and McLaren. Yeah. So welcome back to all those three tracks. Okay. Into the F1 calendar. So I hope it will be a good race, especially in Nürburgring. I have seen the layout. Imola, they might have to revise the layout. It's rumored to be the last chicane to be omitted for some weird reason, but I think they will not omit. So I have not seen the Portimão layout at all because I wasn't born yet when they decided not to race there anymore. So yeah, Nürburgring I have seen. Imola I have seen, but the old layout. There is a few layouts, but I think after about 8 or 9 years after Senna's death, they just took out the Tamborello turn and turned it into a chicane. So yeah, in 05, 06, we couldn't see the Tamborello corner. It was a chicane already. Yeah. So well, in my early videos I was emphasizing that Italy, it was actually, I wasn't emphasizing, it was rumored that Italy would have 3 races, and it's true actually, because Monza, Mugello and Imola. Monza and Mugello and Imola, they have hosted an F1 race. Okay, and Mugello not yet. So yeah, I think I made a video about the Mugello video. Yeah, I forgot the title of the video, but it has the word Mugello in it. So yeah. So I would be glad to see the latest layout of the Portimão track in Portugal, because I have never seen the layout. It looks quite interesting while I was looking through my Facebook timeline on the F1 official page. So yeah. So, but Nürburgring I generally know much further. That's the old name for the Nürburgring track, Notchfehler. Hopefully I pronounce it correctly because it is a German name. So then Imola 06. Who won that race in 06? Because in 2005 I remember the last half a dozen laps, I think I I kept watching this video on YouTube. There was a great battle between Alonso and Schumacher around the track for the last 12 laps of the 2005 edition. So yeah, so the track is like the Imola track and the Monza track is has almost the same characteristics. It's a very tight track with a lot of surface that is covered by either runoff area, a tarmac runoff area, gravel trap, or grass. So the surface of the track is just what you can see. So yeah, the track is good for overtaking, but I think maybe into the first chicane and into the back straight, into one of the chicanes after the back straight. So yeah, Nürburgring will be at the start and finish straight. What happened in 05 in the Nürburgring Grand Prix? That was actually called the European Grand Prix. Who was in the lead in that Grand Prix? And he drove for Lotus in 2013 before he moved to Ferrari the following year. But who lost the lead on the final lap because of the crazy rules that the FIA had stated in 05 about changing of tires. His McLaren was quite undrivable. He managed to drive until the final lap into the first corner. One of the back markers was Jenson Button. He almost took out Jenson's car. He got the flat spot when he overtook one of the back markers. It was Jenson Button's teammate in the BAR. Jacques Villeneuve, I think. Yeah, Jacques Villeneuve. So yeah, he got that flat spot. Lasted him for almost the whole race until the end, but sadly a lap before the end of the race, the tire and the suspension just gave way, and he ended up scoring no points. And Alonso had no chance of winning that race, but he won that race in 05, the European Grand Prix that was held in the Nürburgring. Okay, so yeah. And what made it even weirder was when he rejoined Ferrari in reunited with Ferrari in 2014. Alonso was his teammate. They used to be rivals, racing for Renault and McLaren in 2005 and 2006 and 2007 when Raikkonen was with Ferrari and Alonso with McLaren, so they used to be rivals, but they became teammates in 2014. So yeah, so you guys might know who I'm referring to, because I'm giving quite a number of clues. His recent teammate with Ferrari is Vettel. His current teammate now that he's racing is Giovinazzi, the Ferrari Academy driver. So yeah. The revised calendar is shaping up to be one hell of a calendar. This revised calendar is shaping up to be one hell of a calendar and one hell of a season. It's also rumored that SIC will be back on the calendar. Hopefully they are back. I really want to see Raikkonen race in Malaysia before he retires. Even though it's not live in Sepang, but if it's on TV, I don't mind watching Raikkonen race. Even though he's driving the Sauber, I would like him to drive the Ferrari and win the race. But now he's with Sauber, so the Sauber Alfa Romeo Racing. So yeah. So I would still would like to see him race around Sepang for the last time before he hangs up his racing gloves and boots. Sorry, not boots, shoes. So yeah. Uh, so hopefully SIC will be back in the calendar. It's rumored to be, but not sure. But if it is going to be happen, I'd be really glad, really glad, because I have actually missed race weekends around Sepang, even though I don't watch it live at the track but on TV, but I still miss it. Hopefully the Malaysian government, the FIA and SIC agrees on on the race, so Malaysia can host a race before Raikkonen retires around Sepang. Oh yeah, I call it SIC for short. So SIC, capital S, capital I, capital C, stands for the Sepang International Circuit. So yeah, hopefully, or in Malay we would call it Litar Antarabangsa Sepang. So yes. Wow, this would be a fantastic season. It's also rumored to be the two of the last two Grand Prix would be in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. There will be no Grand Prix in the US, Mexico and Brazil because due to the global pandemic issue. So yeah, we might see a lot of races in Europe, two in Southeast Asia. Vietnam is in doubt actually whether they want to host a race or not because of the pandemic issue. Yes. So yeah, in doubt. So Malaysia is also, but I think they are in discussions to host the race. It's just to make up the calendar of 15 to 18 races calendar. I would be really glad if I'm just re-emphasizing this. I would be really glad if Sepang is back on the calendar, and hopefully we see 3 good races at the 3 tracks that I mentioned just now in the early part of the video, in Germany, Portugal, and a third race in Italy. That would be in the month of November, late October, and yeah, 31st October to 1st November, like that. It's a 2-day weekend. It's a 2-day event, so yeah, that would be in Imola. So wow, it is shaping up to be an unpredictable season in terms of races, but we could easily predict who will become constructors and drivers champions. So yeah, Good night and see you on my next video, and I'm signing off. Bye.